What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Scratch with David McGill.
So let's say that as a driver, I pulled into the weigh station and I'm subject to the inspection where you're inspecting the vehicle itself. You find a deficiency with the vehicle, whether it be a flat tire or some fluids are leaking or something like that, and you cite me for it. What happens after that?
When they do the inspection report, the violations that they're writing down comes from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulation book, as you can see right here, safety regulations. And those violations come from there. If it's just a violation, you will be able to complete your trip unless it's an out-of-service violation. Out-of-service violations come from the CVSA out-of-service criteria, and every carrier should have a copy of this, and also the drivers should have a copy, because if you have a violation of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, but it is so severe that it's listed in the CVSA out-of-service criteria, they will place you out of service. If it's an equipment violation, you will have to have it fixed before you leave the weigh station. If it's a roadside inspection, the officer generally will escort you to a place of safety off the roadway, and he probably already has done that to do the inspection anyway. But you will be down until you get that violation fixed if it's an out-of-service violation. If the driver is placed out of service for not having the right license, he's suspended, or he has log problems, he could be out of service up until the point that he gets his license corrected, or mostly for hours of service violations, it's going to be 10 hours out of service before he can continue on.
Thanks for that. I got a funny story. There's a spot down in southern Indiana. I think it's somewhere near Evansville, but there's a weigh station there. And we got stopped one time at that weigh station, and I forget what the problem was. It might have been something to do with the brake chamber on the trailer, or I forget whatever it was. But when my driver called me and told me he was out of service, I just Googled, repair shops in the area. And there was one that popped up that was probably like 1 mile away from the weigh station. So I was talking to the person who answered, and I'm like, so how often do y'all get calls? It's like, oh yeah, the fact that we're, just a few minutes away from the weigh station, like we get most of our business from trucks coming over there that's out of service, because at the time that we had the problem, the mechanic, they had a mechanic that was already there. So as soon as he got done working on the truck that he was working on, he jumped on our truck to get that problem resolved. So they don't even have to go far. They just go right up the street to the weigh station and just fix all the problems that carriers run into at the station.
The officers won't give you a specific repair facility, but generally at the scale facilities, they will have a list of repair facilities that will come out to the scale. I used to work at the Seymour scales quite a bit, and we'd have like 10 repair services that would come out to there. I mean, if you're based in Michigan, it makes no sense for you to have your mechanic to come down from Michigan to get an out-of-service violation repaired, like a flat tire or something like that. Right. It's just more convenient, right. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to cost more money.
Yeah.
It always does. And that's why I always talk to these drivers about, when you get ready to operate during the day, you have to do your pre-trip. You are the one that's driving the truck. You are the one that knows the truck. You are required to do a pre-trip and look for violations or look for defects that could cause you a problem. And if you don't do that, and you're required by the regulations to do that, every time you get in that truck, who's going to find them? It's going to be the officers on the roadside or the officers at the scale. I mean, the officers at the scale, you go through the scale at 3 miles an hour, they can see an awful lot, and they're very good at pinpointing violations as that truck goes through. They can see bad tires. They can see, cracks in the frames. One of the features is on a semi-trailer, if the ABS light's on. ABS light can't be on. It should not be on when you go through the scales. So if it's on, they've got a violation, and they're always, always looking for a violation to pull you around back to inspect you. They don't want to start with the truck they don't have anything on. They want to start with a truck that they already know I've got one violation or maybe two for them to pull around back.
So let's say I'm a driver and I'm leaving a shipper and I pull into a weigh station and I get cited because I'm overweight at the scale. What happens? Who gets the ticket there? Is it me or is it the carrier? Who's in trouble in that situation?
It depends on the state. In Indiana, if you're the driver for that company and you come through our scale and it's an overweight ticket or if it's anything a violation, the driver's going to get that ticket. And it's going to be his responsibility to go to court and to take care of that ticket. The carrier may help him, but it's really the responsibility for the driver. If you talk about an overweight situation, why is that truck overweight? That driver should have known how much he's allowed to carry, and he should make sure that he's not overweight before he takes out of the place where he got loaded. Sometimes that's difficult, but there are truck stops that have scales for drivers to weigh. There are times where there's not a scale in between the actual weigh station and where the driver loaded up, but it's going to be the driver's responsibility. Sometimes in other states, if it's a shipping problem, where the shipment has a problem, that state may end up contacting the shipper and they may get fined. If it's the carrier problem, the carrier may get fined. But generally in Indiana, the driver gets the ticket.
Okay, now what happens if, nowadays everybody has a cell phone. So as a driver, I'm cruising down 74 and I got the iPhone in the hand, browsing through.
If you got
Apple
it in
Music.
your hand and I see you in there, I'm going to stop you and I'm going to write you for using a cell phone. Do not put it in your hand. If I'm a trooper and I see it as I'm going down the road and you've got that cell phone in your hand, I'm going to stop you and I'm going to write you up every time. There are no warnings for that.
Nah, but Mike, I'm actually logging into my ELD. I'm checking out on my ELD. I'm not surfing the internet.
If I see you with that cell phone, I'm going to write you up. That's one of the problems of using a cell phone to be part of your ELD system. A lot of times the ELD system will be different from that cell phone. You'll have its own separate, or you may have a tablet there that is for the ELD. But you start using your cell phone, the cell phone's going to have to be mounted. And if you take it out of the mount and I see you doing it while you're driving, I'm going to consider you using the cell phone and I'm going to write it up. And it's going to be your opportunity to go to court and explain to the judge that you weren't using a cell phone.
For more information, check out the description box below. If you found this video helpful, then leave a comment and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and share it with your people. And until next time, mind your trucking business.